Today I'm going to share a controversial video with you. This is going to be controversial because I'm 100% sure there'll be two sides, two camps, and neither of you will agree. But anyway, this actually happened. This actually happened just now. So that's why I'm going to talk about it. Now, after I got up, I normally, have my coffee. I have a few slices of orange, and I sit down and do my creative thinking before I go for my run, and then I do my videos. So I was checking out the markets and I was checking out the news quietly. Even my wife doesn't disturb me. Then on my WhatsApp, my WhatsApp groups, I have multiple: Telegram, WhatsApp, Signal, Facebook. So on WhatsApp, this young boy, he sent me a message. Now, this particular young boy has also been my client. Okay, he's been my client. He's a young boy. He's not earning much and all that, and he wanted my guidance. So fine. I told him I don't do anything for free, especially when he wanted my time. If one-line answers I can give. So he booked my session for at a heavily discounted price. He's poor. Basically, he's poor, and when what you're earning is less than what you're earning per month is less than what I make in a few minutes. I mean, I totally understand that I shouldn't be charging you much. So, and his questions were also very silly, the youngsters' questions: friends, girlfriend, career, parents, love. So he had very simple questions. So I not only answered his questions, I also made it a point to keep in touch with him. Nice dog. So I made it a point to also stay in touch with him, in the sense that if he needed any time, to be in touch with me. And I think, I don't know, out of courtesy or whatever, he has been forever contributing little sums of money for my channel, and fine, I just kept quiet. But he has been in touch with me, and I just want to be sure that I'm there when he needs me. Okay, because nowadays a lot of youngsters, they feel lost. So okay, fine, maintaining that, and he is a good lad. Now, when I was doing my work, all of a sudden he sends me a message: "Hi, how are you?" And so I'm like, "What do you want?" So then he starts chit-chatting with me, just some topics here and there. And when he started to chat with me, I'll make another video what he said, because I felt that can be a topic of value. But as he started chatting with me, I had, it was like, this is my creative time. It's a time where I need to be alone and not to be disturbed. But I keep my, WhatsApp open if in case there's emergency. And given the fact that he was my ex-client, if he needs anything emergency, I'm there. But this guy started to chat nonsense. And then when I tried to end the conversation by telling him, listen, so and so, he went to another topic, and you know what a 20-year-old talks nonsense about life, dreams and goals and this and that, and I was not in a fucking frame of mind. Finally, I gave it to him left, right and center. I gave it to him, and I told him, you act fucking smart. When you forget your place, just fucking block you off. I don't need your shit. Don't fucking disrespect me with your nonsense. It's my business channel, man. It's my business number. I'm giving you the privilege and the importance of being in touch with me. Value that. Ask me if something is really urgent and important, not fucking chit-chatting about waste of time nonsense. Sometimes people, just because they pay peanuts, they think, oh, I've given him $1. I can sit with him and talk to him for the next 2 hours. So I reminded him of his place, and I sent a warning to the group, and I told them, you guys, apart from my clients and people who are in touch with me, anyone else fucking waste my time, you'll just be blocked and banned. And I do the same with anyone. Anyone sends me nonsense and they're not my client, block and ban. I don't have time. I know I'm acting, maybe you'll think I'm acting like a diva, but when you run a business and you are the main person and you're doing everything, your time is money. Your attention, your energy, it's so valuable. So now, this is not the controversial part. The controversial part is coming. Now, what happened was, afterwards, after I finished my run, I cooled down a little bit. I got in touch with him again. And I told this guy, listen, I've given you a privilege. Don't fuck it up. Okay? He said, yes, sorry, and this and that. And then he said, no issues, Loy, Loy, this, that. I told him, wait, stop. You don't fucking call me Loy. Okay? You are a student. You call me sir because I'm your fucking mentor, not your fucking buddy. Okay? And you'll call me sir. Yes sir, okay sir. Yeah, you call me fucking sir. Yeah, because I've taken the role of being your mentor. I've taken the role of being like a father figure to you, to guide you. I asked him, do you call your father, hey, whatever, Ramu or Richard or Ramsey, or do you call your father by a name? Hey, Alex? He said, no, I don't call my father by my name. I call him Papa or Dad. What about your mother? He said, no, I call my mother by respect. What about your teachers? I call them sir. Yeah. So you call me with that same. Now I'm very sure you'll say, hey, what the fuck, Loy? You are such a old fashioned. I'll explain to you. Wait, just listen to my logic and then you'll. Now, why did I tell this young man to call me sir? Okay. Obviously, I should explain this to him also, right? So I told him, the people from India or these countries who want my favor or who want help, okay, we are brought up in a particular culture. We Eastern people, we are brought up in a particular culture where we respect our elders. We call our mom, mummy, we call our dad, papa. And as we grow up, maybe we'll call mom or dad. But we never call them, hey, with their name. I've never called my own father, stepfather, even though he was a bastard. I never called him, hey, Frederick, or hey, Pinto. No. I never called my mother, hey, Helen. Never, never, never. My stepbrother did. I don't know why. Maybe he thought it was very modern. Hey, Helen, hey, Pinto, whatever. I never called, because for me, I was brought up with that culture where you respect. See, in the Western culture, they can call people with their names, first name, and American culture. The culture is different. They call even the CEO maybe with the name, hey, Jeff, hey, Elon. Okay, but for us, we Asians, no? Our teachers, our gurus, the people elder to us, we call them with respect. And yes, a little bit of British upbringing, where you say Mr. out of hierarchy. Now this hierarchy, I know many of you think that, what the fuck hierarchy? See, it is important. Why do you think in the army, they say, yes, sir? Why do they follow protocol? Okay, sir, yes, sir. Why do they stand at attention? Even though the guy is just a human being like you, 2 hands, 2 legs. Why do you call him sir? It's respect. It's to know your place. And if you have to earn the privilege of calling them by their name, you have to be at that rank and level by giving sacrifice, by giving time, by proving yourself in the battle of war. Today what has happened is, you get this new generation, this new breed, that doesn't need to earn their stripes, that doesn't need to prove themselves in the battle of life, that doesn't need to do anything. Just automatically, by default, you have to respect me. I'm a human being like you. We are all equal. This in itself has given a sense of entitlement where you don't have to earn anything. You can just call anyone anything. And like, think about it. Why is it in government sectors, we still respect the person at a high level? Why do you think in corporations, most of the you still give them respect of being your boss. Okay, agreed, in American companies, they care a fuck, they call Hisha. Forget that Western culture, it's gone to the dogs. Why, when you meet a king or a president, Mr. President, Your Highness, why? The hierarchy is not dead. Whether corporate, whether in the military, respect. It comes with these small actions. You might say this, you can call someone sir, but behind their back you can call whatever shit. No, that is integrity. That means you lack character. For me, my mentors, I still call my mentors with the way I used to call them. Like my mentor, Murad. When I address him, I always call him Colonel. Because he was a colonel in the police. I knew him from that time, 25 years ago. I call him Colonel, even though he was promoted to Major. With love and respect, I call him Colonel. I never called him Murad. Never. My other boss was Gabriel D'Souza. I used to always call him boss. I still call him boss. Now, let's assume tomorrow I become, which I will not, multi-millionaire or whatever. I will still call them that because I haven't forgotten my place. My own mother and father, I may not respect them at all. I don't call them mom and dad because they've lost the privilege of being called mom and dad. But how I circumvent this is I don't call them with their name, anything. I said, yes, what do you want? But now I don't even talk to them. Just block them. I don't want to listen to their shit. See, what I'm trying to tell you is, my wife calls me sir out of respect. Okay, fine, you may not subscribe to this call, let your husband and wife call each other with their names, whatever, it's up to you. That is your ground rule. For me, you have to earn your fucking respect. Today when I meet someone of a high ranking, I give them respect. Now, obviously, if someone is, I know what you'll say. Oh, so if someone is filthy rich, you call them, you bend your head and... No, for me, I deal with CEOs. I deal with government heads. I deal with big guys sometimes. Okay? If I need their favor, if I need their help, I humble myself. If they need my favor, if they need my service, I don't disrespect them, but I talk to them now. Now, you'll ask me, next one is, if you're not asked, or you're not thought about, what about a client from Canada or US? Okay? If they speak to me, do they call me sir? No, they don't call me sir. Because I understand they are from a different upbringing. I get a lot of youngsters from Canada, US, New Zealand. I told you this, when I got the student first time, that was how many, 4 years ago, I got the student from Harvard. Indian guy, but educated abroad. He didn't call me sir, but he called me Mr. Loy. He still gave me respect. He goes, sorry, he called me Mr. Macedo. Yeah. So that respect was still there. See, whether you agree or disagree, respect is paramount. Respect that comes from the heart. Today, the problem is you live in a generation and time where you have social media, chat groups, WhatsApp groups, and everyone just, hey dude, hey bro, hey this, hey that. But in real life, I'll tell you, real life, when you see someone who is a government official, when you see someone who is a VIP, when you see someone who is a CEO, when you see someone who is elder than you, do you go, hey bro, hey this, hey that? No. You'll fucking get arrested or kicked out. You cannot forget your place, man. In real life, most of 90% of these bums, in real life, they will not have the balls to fucking talk. Forget communicate them. They won't even have the guts to stand. You know, I have some of my clients are models. Okay, hot females, and I speak to them normal. They tell me, Loy, you know, I had this WhatsApp and this and that. They say, hey babes, hey, you're so hot, hey, hotness and this and that. And, but these very same idiots, if they were face to face, they'll not have the balls to talk. This one particular incident happened. This female, she's very, accomplished female in terms of her business. Her side hustle is modeling and all that. So obviously she gets all these guys, oh, I love you, this and that. One day when she was shopping at a Premier store, all of a sudden this guy walks up. He walks up and he wants to talk to her. So he wants to talk to her and he's like, hi, how are you? And he was literally shivering. Okay. And she looked at him, yes. She told me this, huh? He said, I'm a big fan of yours. Remember me? And I'm sorry, I don't. And he said, my name is so-and-so. He gave his name, whatever. Let's assume his name is Amit Goyal or something. Okay. She was thinking, she said, I'm sorry. And then he showed his Instagram. He was shivering, huh? He showed his thing. She looked at it and she recognized, because this guy used to comment on every photo. Hey, babes, you're so hot. Hey, this and that. And when she recognized him, she was pissed off because, he's like, hey, babes, you're so hot. Oh, I love you, this and that. She said, please, I'm a big fan of yours. And so she told him, what do you want? Can I take a photo? She said, no, I'm sorry, you cannot. And she said, please don't disturb me. Leave me alone. Okay? And okay, I'm sorry. And he went. He sheepishly went and said, sorry, ma'am, I really admire you, you're this and that. And he went off because obviously she had a security guards and this and that. Now, after he finished, subsequently, later on, he commented, oh, today was such a great day. I met the babe, I met this. She's so beautiful in real life. All that bullshit he was commenting. Now, if you see the difference, when he was face to face with her, he didn't have the courage to talk. However, when he's behind the smartphone chatting, he puts all these brave statements. Hey, babes, say this, say that. I've literally seen this happen in real life. I'll tell you, so many of these youngsters who talk on my WhatsApp group, they're so fucking bold. Oh, what the fuck, who the fuck you think you are, and this and that, they talk like that. Sometimes, I say, listen, I want to talk to you. Okay. And when I talk to them video, face to face, you just realize you're talking to a fucking kid. You're talking to, even if he's 40 or, they are a minuscule of what they show. Because in the real world, nobody gives a fuck to them, man. Nobody gives a fuck. Why you think so many of them create fake accounts, create this English name or matrix photograph or whatever, but they'll not put their real identity? Because their real identity, they are pieces of shit. They're nothing, they're a nobody. But online, anonymous, you can be anyone you want, right? So what I'm trying to tell you is, you need to own your fucking respect, man. You need to own your fucking stripes. When I talk to people who are elder than me, I'm always aware of the fact, maybe this guy is more successful than me. Maybe this guy is more knowledgeable than me. Maybe this guy's seen more of life than me. I don't know. So I take that humble approach that I can learn something from. Do you know how many people I've met who, when you see, you'll think they're a fucking sweeper and cleaner, only for you to realize, fuck, this guy's a multi-millionaire, or this guy his wisdom is far beyond. I have met people whom I thought, this actual incident happened in Dubai. This guy was cutting fish and all that, and I asked him, please give me this fish, and he cut and cleaned and give me. He was a new guy. Normally there's an old guy. So he gave me, and then my guy came. By the time my guy came, I had finished cutting the fish and all that. Then I gave this guy the money, and then because this guy did such a good job, I put my hand around him. You're a good guy, and he is slightly old, and I gave him a $5 tip, maybe around a dollar and a half. I gave him as a tip. He said, this is for you, just buy tea. He said, thank you, sir. And the other guy just looked at me. I thought, he kind of maybe felt bad or something. I went. After a few days, when I came back to buy fish again, this guy remarked, that day, why you gave this guy a tip? He asked. He said, don't feel bad, but. So I said, why, you feeling bad? I'll give you a tip, man. He said, no, nothing like that. You're my friend, I consider like a friend. But why do you give him a tip? I said, because he did a good job. He's saying, do you know who is he? I said, no, who's he? He said, he's the owner of the business. So I thought, okay, owner of this business. So I didn't think much. He said, then he realized I didn't understand. So I said, so he said, you didn't understand, right? I said, no. Saying this guy has, he's a supplier for the entire city. And back home in Kerala, he has maybe 20, 30 houses, properties. He's a multi-millionaire. He's so filthy rich. He can literally buy maybe a building if he wants. But I was like, he's dressed up like this. He's saying, yeah, because he's humble. He doesn't like to show off. His children study in the United States and, you know, they are like going to study for doctor and this and that. I was shocked. See, this is one example. The other example was my own mentor who I told you about. You know, my mentor, once, the thing about him is even though he earns, like I've told you before, he's the CEO of his company, he's the owner. His turnover is around $11 million, okay, annually. So early on in UAE, this is the days when they wouldn't give the four-wheel drive, you know, the four-wheel, like Range Rover. If you had to buy it, you had to take special permission from the government because only Arabs would buy. Later on, they opened it and allowed whites to buy it. Then they knew that they had to expand their markets. And then they allowed, what do you call that, Indians and other nationalities to buy it without permission. So when they allowed, my boss, that time, he had told me this. And I know he doesn't exaggerate. So he's an Indian guy from South India, Mangalore. So he decided he wanted to buy this Range Rover. Now, Range Rover also, like any model, there are different models. So he went to this Range Rover showroom. I think it was Arabian Business, Arabian Automobiles, yeah, in UAE. You can ask anyone. Arabian Automobiles had the agency that time. I don't know if they still do. He went there, dressed up in jeans, slipper, just a t-shirt with his scruffy beard, and he didn't look anything like expensive. So in this place, there were all these Arabs who were sitting down. Arab means Lebanese, and those days Lebanese were considered like the whites of UAE, the whites of the Arab world. And if you speak to any Lebanese, they'll always tell you, oh, we are from the French descendants. We are from the European descendants. What they basically want to say is the Europeans came, fucked all the women and ran away. That's why they're still stuck there. So even though they have white skin and white layer and all, I'm talking the arrogant ones. I wouldn't say all. Like, for example, this is a fact, even in India, the ones who are Christian, Catholics or whatever, what were they? They were Hindus, and, you know, primarily they were Hindus, and most of them were untouchables and all that. And when Christian missionaries came, they told them God loves you, and they converted them, because India's actual religion is not Christianity. The people in India, they are converted from Hinduism. So same way in Lebanon, it being a Middle East country, they are not whites, white skin and all that. They generally have dark complexion because of the sun and the heat. Why? Because of crossbreeding. Anyway, don't want to get much. Maybe if I'm wrong, you correct me. Not trying to give you something that's racist. It's a fact. That is why you have dark complexion people in hot countries, because exposure to the sun. You can't expect to be white. Australians, what happened? People from England came there, right? Okay, anyway, let's not get into this. So he went there and he was looking around, and, you know, after him some Arabs came, you know, Arabs with Kandura, because Range Rover is not a cheap car. Arabs with Kandura came there. The minute these guys with their suits, the salesmen, they saw the Arab guy, Faddal Sheikh, Faddal, means welcome your highness, like that. They went running up to him, 3-4 guys, and Faddal Sheikh, Faddal, and they offered, please come, have tea, have a seat. But this guy, nobody bothered. So he didn't care, he was still looking around. You're talking of this the early 80s, still looking around. And then one of these sales guys with a beard, he looked at him and he's like, what this guy wants. So he finally came, yes, Yahi, what do you want? See, imagine, Arab guy they called Faddal Sheikh, means welcome Sheikh. But to this Indian guy, Yahi means, hey, bugger, what do you want? Yahi, what do you want? Okay. So he said, I want to see a car. Oh, you want to see car? And he pointed, he told him, Toyota showroom, wala there, a Range Rover. So he said, yeah, I want to buy Range Rover, he told him. Oh, Range Rover? Oh, okay. So this is the time when it was the starting time of UAE, starting time where Indians were very less. And the Indians who are coming, they're not very rich ones. Most of the people who they identify as Indians were poor, okay? And they were this humble lot and all that. So he took him to show him the cheapest models of Range Rover, Land Rover, whatever. I don't know if Land Rover was there, Range Rover. But he, after looking at all this, he told him, what about that? He pointed to the most expensive. You know, the most expensive is kept at a well-lit area where the window, where, you know, the glasses are and the lighting is good. He said, that? He told him that. You know how much for tire? You know, just the tire. He said, no. He gave him some price or whatever. He said, I want to see. Yahi, that even bank loan, even 10 bank give you loan, you can't buy. He said, but please, I want to see. Okay, yalla, come. He just amused. The other guys were laughing when he took him there. He didn't touch anything. He was looking. And he said, can I see? Don't touch. Just see what you want. So he checked a couple of things. He wanted to sit in. He said, no, you just read. And yalla bara means go. I think he was getting tired of being amused. So he said, okay, thank you very much. He shook his hand. He didn't even give him his card. He said, your name please. Just ask for whatever his name was. Okay. So he left him, walked out of the showroom. He found out the price. And next day, I think after a few days, I don't know, next day, whatever, he came back again. This guy, Yahi, how are you? And he was a jovial chap, I guess. And other guys were not bothered. You come again, you want to buy? Yes, can I see? Sure, go. So he went there. And then, you know, this guy, this time he didn't obviously come forward and show him the tour. He was sitting on his desk. So he walked all the way to where he's sitting. Please, can I sit? Sit. What do you want? Chai? You want the chai? Give free. So he said, yes, please give me a tea. Order, yeah, hey, bring for my friend. Bring one free chai. So the tea was bought. And they say, if I want to buy this, how can I buy? Oh, you want to buy? Oh. He was like, Yahi, no bank, no check, I want cash, wallahi cash. So they say, yeah, okay, I'll give you cash. Oh, you give cash? Then he took a piece of paper and wrote down how much was the cash. You can give me this, wallahi, I give you car. And by the time the other guys, these Lebanese, Syrian, the other chaps again, and they were laughing. They're like, oh, you give cash. And they were sitting and laughing. You rob bank? So he said, no. Okay. He put the amount. I think the amount was close to, I'm not too sure. You can, what I'm sure I tell you, what I'm not sure. I think the price was around 200 or 300,000. It was the most expensive that time. It had kind of, I don't know, some of the features were like high military grade. And they even had this phone, which was like a military phone that you could connect in the vehicle. You're talking of the 80s. Whatever amount he put there, he had a bag, he opened the bag and he put the money there. The minute he put the money, this guy's jaw dropped. Everybody stopped talking. In fact, it was pin drop silence. When new customers came in, still nobody bothered. They were still looking at this guy. He put the cash, tax. So, okay, now what is next? This guy, you could say that his jaw was just open. He says, what do you do? What do you do here? He told him, I'm a businessman. What business? He told him what he doesn't. Oh, the tune changed completely. This guy, oh, welcome sir, welcome. From Yahi, it became welcome sir, welcome. Sheikh, oh. He was like this and, well, as usual, he completed the formalities. He wanted the car. And after that, he was treated like a VIP. This guy became like a rat in front of him. And he started to give him respect. Now, what am I trying to tell you through this? See, the fact of the matter is, you need to respect people, okay, by default. It's not that just because someone is young or someone looks poor or something, I treat them with disrespect. No. My business is to run my business. I get a lot of freeloaders, lots. Oh, you will not believe how many requests I get per day. Can you help me? Can you this? At some point, you become numb. That many requests I receive per day. Forget my own relatives, forget friends. The number of people who send me messages for jobs, this, that. I do my best. These videos, I do my best, but I can't do beyond that. However, what you need to keep in mind is, respect can be given, but it should be also earned. I treat people with respect generally, but I respect whatever they have earned. Like for example, if I see a policeman wearing his police outfit, no matter was small or big, I respect him. If there are rules of the country, I respect the rules. If there's an immigration officer, if there's a shopkeeper, if there's a restaurant, if there's a waiter, I respect them. However, I'm not going to put you on my head. But if I need something from you, I'll respect you even more. Why? Because I'm in need. So in the same way, when you need something, you have to be respectful for the person, man. And this is one big thing which today's generation doesn't know or doesn't understand. When they chat with people on WhatsApp, when they talk, they think, oh, Chuma, I can talk to anyone. I can ask for free advice, free this, free that. In the real world, nobody will give you even just dust. They'll not flick any dust in your direction. So when you are so unimportant, why don't you earn your fucking stripes, man? So that is why I'm very particular who I talk to. That is why I'm very particular how people address me. And that is why I know who I'm supposed to respect and not respect. For me, I've been born with Eastern values. So for me, if I call someone out of respect, you will know it. Yes, there are some people who I call them with their first name. Even though they're paid quite a huge amount of donations, even though they are people in power, but they know I respect them. However, people who are not my friends and people who are not, I call them with their titles. Why? Because they've earned it. However, if someone wants my service, I'll respect you, but don't expect me to treat you like, even I get doctors, even I get politicians, even I get CEOs. I don't say yes sir, no sir. No, you need my fucking service. You're coming to me. You need me, not the other way around. If I need you, then it's different. Anyway, this is what I wanted to share with you guys. Let me know your thoughts. What I'm saying resonates with you. Feel free to disagree. I have no issues, because you have a right. But I can tell you this much. In the real world, you better learn to respect people. And yes, it depends on which culture you're from, depends on which place you are. That is why in India, still today, respect is paramount to elders and parents. But in the West, respect goes to the dogs. Anyone can criticize any politician, anyone can criticize anyone, no matter how rich that person is, and no matter how useless you are. You can open your mouth, equal rights and equal this and equal that. That's why you get such a mess. There should be decorum. There should be hierarchy. There should be respect. And this is something only the Far East, these cultures teach. Anyway, this is what I wanted to share with you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me sign off. You guys take care.